Ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube and Twitch. This is the Early Bird Special. Happy Thursday, one and all. Sparky, good morning.
Happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve. Let them know what they're in for.
Oh, we're going to get to a lot of different stuff. We'll talk a little Dion, talking about bringing salary cap to college sports and maybe even baseball. But we'll talk about the MMA legend that was hospitalized. We'll talk a little robots. We'll talk about Booker getting paid and all sorts of other things. Feel free to jump in anytime at 661-842-2000, where you can actually text in your questions or comments or even call. But we are the Early Bird Special. And first off, Devin Booker got paid.
Got paid more than SGA did, too, surprisingly enough, as he signs a historic 2-year, $145 million max extension with the Suns. The Suns are putting all their eggs into one basket. At least it's the right basket, to be completely fair with you. Devin Booker, out of the three that you had, was definitely the right one to put your money behind. Putting this much money behind him, though? Wow. Because this does put him over SGA for the most annual money that he'll be paid by any player will be paid, actually. And I don't know. How do you feel about this, Spark? Because I love Devin Booker. I think he's been great for the Phoenix Suns. As we said the other day, though, if you're Phoenix and you're looking to retool or rebuild, you're going to have to figure something out very, very quick, because this guy's career has been squandered there. And honestly, if he was probably on any other team that was slightly a contender, he probably would be a much bigger name, if not an actual ring holder right now.
I mean, despite a pretty bad season for the Suns last year, I like that they're keeping with their boy. I don't know if it was worth that type of money, but I get it.
Phoenix has a long history of being loyal to their stars, right? I mean, they had Steve Nash there for God knows how long, Amari Stoudemire, until Amari finally got fed up and said, I want to go to New York. I mean, they usually do the right thing by getting behind their star players that they've had for however long they've been with the team. Just the salary or the number you put on this contract,
72.5 a year.
Ooh, ouch. Oof. I mean, don't get me wrong, well deserved for Devin Booker, especially for somebody who has stood by this team and has said multiple times that he wants to bring a super team to Phoenix and build it in Phoenix. You tried a couple times now, my brother, and it hasn't worked out, so I hope they figure something out better for you. But I just don't know if I don't know if you can really convince me that Devin Booker is worth more money than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Exactly.
I don't think you can really argue that. I think obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as I said yesterday, MVP of the league, Finals MVP, new face of the favorite basketball game around the world, 2K. I mean, this kid is across the board easily on his way to being the face of the league. I love Devin Booker and what he's done in the league since he's been here, but $72.5 million a year. Wow, that's a hell of a price tag for him. I don't know if that might be a little bit too steep. Obviously, it's only a 2-year extension. So if it doesn't work out, you won't be paying this price tag for very long. But I'm lukewarm about it. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's a piece of me that's just like, is this a little bit of an overpay? A little bit, but I don't know. Again,
I would say so.
I'd argue, though, as well, that Devin on any other team probably would have won a ring by now. Honestly, like, I just don't think Phoenix has been able to put together a proper team for him to actually contend. If he was on any other team, like, I don't know, let's throw him on the Clippers or anything like that, probably would have won a ring by now.
Loyalty, though.
I know. And that's what I give him credit for. Like, that's one of those things that just isn't in the league anymore on either side, for players or for these organizations. So for him to be a loyal guy like that, that's the only thing that I can honestly say makes it deserving of the money.
Well, to keep it in basketball, former NBA player Ben McLemore got sentenced yesterday,
100 months in prison for rape. We talked about the story, I think, beginning of this week or end of last week. He was in court for sexual assault and rape of a 21-year-old after
A house
house
party.
party that his teammate threw at a lake. The situation was very, very gross. I mean, the girl was incredibly intoxicated, passed out on the couch, and woke up to Macklemore. Well,
Yeah, first degree.
yeah. So, and I mean, when you hear 100 months at first, I know everybody's thinking, "Oh, heck yeah, that's a considerable amount of time. Justice is served." But then you really break down how much 100 months is. Maybe 8 years.
If he does the full time, yeah.
That's not long enough. Sorry, it's not. Especially for someone who willingly did what he did and knew what he was doing. Not long enough. Although I'm not gonna lie to you, usually the prison world, these guys don't last very long in there.
No, not for those types of charges.
Exactly. So God only knows. But I personally don't feel like this is enough of a slap. I think this needed to be a little bit longer, if not a lot bit longer. I mean, if it's not double digit years, what are we doing?
And this has almost been a weekly segment on our show.
I know.
As this in the sports world, we're seeing a lot more of this.
Well, and what bugs me the most is that the district attorney of the area went out of their way to go to the media and say, I want to make a statement that no matter who you are as a or as a person or as a a face in our community, that you are held to the same standards as everybody else. Not exactly what he said, but it's pretty much what he said. And for that to happen, I don't know if 100 months is essentially what anybody would get for this charge. If it is, we need to bump those numbers up, big dog.
That's like half the time it should probably do.
Shoot, half is even small to me. Like I think we need to bump this up to at least 20. Like if you do something this heinous, I don't know. I'm one of those people that says throw the book at them and they don't come out.
I mean, we talked about kind of a similar story with the baseball player a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and the mother who got, I believe, 10 years for trafficking her daughter.
Yeah, Wander Franco, who I believe got 2 years for this entire
Yeah,
situation.
and I'm
Again,
like,
that's a DR situation,
yeah,
though.
but I'm
So
just saying it's got to be a state to state type thing. And I mean, in California, I would think he would get double that, at least
probably
15, 20 years.
I don't know, dude. The way California judgments are nowadays, like they could have given him half of this. They could have given him 50 months and then probably said, okay, go on your business. Like I really don't know what California would have done with this. This is a state of Oregon situation. I still just feel like this is too short. 100 months, although again, looks good on paper. And when anybody reads that, they think, okay, that's justice served. 100 months is a pretty
when you
decent
write it
sentence.
100 months.
Yeah, but then you break it down into years and realize she's not even going to be 29 by the time this guy gets out of prison. That's not long enough. It's not. I'm sorry. Like maybe I'm being heartless, but text in 661-822-2000. Do you think this was suitable judgment for the former NBA guard, or do you feel like us that this may have been a little bit of an undershot? I think we need to bump these numbers up just a little bit. That's just my personal opinion, but that is what it is. I cannot stress enough, though, that I'm happy that justice was served in any way, shape, or form. Any way, shape, or form. But 100 months, although looking nice on paper, I can't get behind that. I just can't. I don't know what else
sick world.
to say.
It's a sick world we live in.
Nasty. It's gross.
But we'll take a quick break and we'll get back into the money and dollars and cents, because Dion talked yesterday and brought up maybe bringing salary cap into college, and it kind of ruffled some feathers in the college world. Plus, we can get that into even baseball, because I've talked about that for a long time, that I think baseball needs to adopt the salary cap. But we'll get into that and much more right here on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back to the early bird special. Real quick before we leave the world of basketball, two things just popped in my head. One, going back to this Booker contract, because it just popped up in my head, Spark. I want to get your thoughts on this. Could this contract be actually a positive for the NBA? Because let's face it, for the last couple of years, we've heard a lot from fans and from executives that the loyalty factor of the NBA is officially gone. These guys don't stay on these teams long term, yada, yada, yada. Booker signing this deal with the Suns, although short term, kind of works out for them because I feel like this now shows at least young players like Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, the guys coming into the league, that long-term loyalty will pay off in terms of financially. Because if you think of it this way, the longer you stay on a team, the bigger that max contract can get for you, showing what Booker obviously is getting right now with the numerous max contracts that he has gotten from the Suns now. If you stay with a team, I know we've talked about this multiple times about Cooper Flag. He continuously stays with maybe the Dallas Mavericks and gets these max contracts. He could get over $1 billion accumulatively over his career. Imagine what that could be, though, if he ends up staying in Dallas and these numbers end up bumping more and more and more over the next couple of years. Do you think this could potentially be not a warning sign, but a lesson to these young players that, hey, maybe sticking around with one franchise is actually worth it?
Financially, yeah.
I mean,
Probably if you're chasing a ring or a title, probably not.
probably not. I would agree with that.
I mean, I'm always a loyal guy when it comes to all sports.
Right.
I always, try to root on the guys that, stay in their city, whether they're a bottom of the barrel type team or not. I mean, I grew up watching Marino, so everybody was like, oh, if Marino played for this team or that team, he would have got, his ring. But it's probably a good lesson. People like Booker. The thing is not a lot of teams are like Phoenix, where they lock in, their star and they try to keep them there. If other players, I don't know. I mean, because it kind of goes into the ring chase type thing we've talked about for weeks. Is it the financial that you're in the league, or are you chasing titles?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of these players are chasing the bag more than they're chasing a ring.
Yeah. And I think with OKC locking in their, SGA and the sloth yesterday, I think that's something, but they won a championship. So everyone's, in high praise right now in OKC. If they come out and wet the bed this year and, don't play as well,
right,
they're locked in with these players. Luckily with Phoenix, it's a 2-year, we max you out, we love you type deal. But hopefully, I mean, that would be great for the league and for fans. You know how many Dolphin jerseys I have that have now collected dust because I won't wear them because they're not on the team anymore. It's just I had to go back to only buying jerseys of players that are either on rookie deals that aren't going anywhere or they're Hall of Famers or retired.
And I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, this would help the loyalty factor in the NBA, because we talk about incentives on, enticing these guys to stay with these certain teams or do these things that other people may not want to do, i.e. all-star games and all-star activities. I think that this is a good lesson, though, because obviously we just said it before the break. Can't necessarily convince me that Devin Booker is worth more money than an SGA. However, the long-term loyalty to this team, as SGA will most likely give to Oklahoma City, I think that that's a good lesson and at least a good sign for players coming in when they're thinking, man, this is a business and all they're going to care about is how many baskets I can make for you. Because at the end of the day, like I said the other day, in sports and in life in general, you're only as valuable to a business as the dollar sign they give you. And if you start to exceed that dollar sign, they will move on from you. So if this at some point is a good lesson to these kids saying, if you're good enough and you show your loyalty to this organization and you're a consistent provider to the organization, as Booker has been to the Suns in multiple different ways, I think this is just the best cocktail to keep these kids on a team for a long period of time, because guys like Cooper Flagg seem like somebody that would probably want to be loyal to one franchise to their entirety of their career. The likelihood of it happening obviously is minuscule with the way the league works nowadays. But could you imagine if we could somehow convince all of these guys to go back to the way it used to be, and none of them really want to leave the team they're on right now? I think there's going to be a lot of fans out there, much like Sparky, who are going to be excited because they can actually hold on to those jerseys for long periods of time.
It's good for the fan base as well, because I know my buddy Red texted me and said, do that. I would have paid him whatever he wanted.
And sustained greatness is still a good thing. That's why I've wondered, especially in the NBA, if you were able to turn a team around and make it a dynasty, much like Steph Curry did with the Warriors, why would you want to leave? It makes it easier to want to stay. Obviously, winning is the best part about sports. So when you're winning, you really don't care what city you're in. I genuinely believe that. If LeBron was winning a lot in Cleveland and believed he could win a ring in Cleveland, he never would have left for Miami. The reason he left for Miami is because he truly believed he could not win in Cleveland.
Do you think it's attractive to players that are younger and want that type of hometown love type thing?
I think so, because honestly, when you watch these docuseries and you hear, like, honestly, quarterbacks did a great job of it this last year when they were talking about the Jared Goff situation. They talked to Jared specifically about how he felt with the trade to Detroit and how that all went about, and how he felt betrayed by the Rams, and a team that he thought loved him and wanted him there no longer wanted him there. So he felt useless, and he felt, just nobody wants to be told they're bad at their job, is essentially what he said. And then you get to Detroit, and he realizes this is a group of people that want me here. They want to grow with me. Like, I think every athlete and every person wants that. You want to know that you are valued by the organization or the job that you're working for. So I think in the long run, that also ties into it too. I think the Phoenix Suns giving this money to Booker shows Booker, we want you here still. This plan is still based around you. So I think that in the long run is a good thing. And it's a good sign to these young players who, again, like I said, probably are coming into the league thinking this is a business and I'm probably going to be drafted to one team, but then in 3 or 4 years, I'm going to be probably somewhere else, because that's how the league is.
And it's kind of goes into the Giannis type deal, because, Giannis, everybody, when they won the title, they're like, Giannis, we got Giannis for life. And now how the NBA goes back into what you're talking about, whether it's the loyalty or the title chasing, I still don't see Giannis getting traded, because when you think of Giannis, you think of Milwaukee, whether it was a small town that he took into, winning a championship, and it's gonna prove. But I think you're right when it comes to the loyalty, especially with players that are so big in the city that, sells the tickets. People that are Suns fans, it's a part of life. It's part of, Booker, having to see Booker play somewhere else. It hurts.
It would be a heartbreaker for Phoenix. But at the same time, like you said, I think this is just a great step forward, and potentially some of these franchises want somebody loyal and they want these people to stay. Because I think right now, with the growing sentiment that it's just a business and everybody is up in the air, especially with the Luka trade last year. Now everybody believes nobody is safe and everybody could potentially be traded at any point in time. That's not a good growing thought process in your players. Because if that's the case, you think the money is bad now? Imagine if these players stop caring. Imagine if LeBron James could not care less about the Lakers organization as a whole and only cared about his wallet. You really think that he would sit there and only take $50 million when there's a guy in the league that's taking 70? No, not at all. So that's the other thing you have to take into account. You have to win these players back over in terms of thinking they aren't just being used for their athletic ability. And I think this is a good step forward in that the Phoenix Suns are saying, hey, we still want loyalty. We still want our guy. We aren't moving on from anything. And the constant paying of Devin Booker, although, again, price tag might be a little steep now, at least it's a good sign for the future that potentially the NBA is thinking we need to start thinking more towards loyalty and benefiting loyal players rather than players that are just going to be bouncing around every year or getting moved every year because of that's just how the league is nowadays. I think that's a good step forward. The other story that we got to talk to real quick before we take a break and then get to Dion and this entire cap salary for the NCAA. Frank Layden, former Utah Jazz coach, unfortunately passed away at the age of 93. He was the first coach ever to take the Jazz to the playoffs. He was the coach, I believe, from 81 to 89 before they stepped down and moved on to the Jerry Sloan situation.
Days.
And he was part of the organization, though, that actually brought in Malone and everybody else for those incredible 90s years for the Utah Jazz. And I believe he was a short-time coach for the WNBA team when they actually had one as well. But he has passed away at the age of 93. That's a hell of a run.
Let's see if I could hit anywhere in the 90s, I'll be happy.
Honestly, like I've thought about that. It's like, what age is like the optimal age, would you say? And honestly, there are so many situations where I look at it and it's like, if you are spry still in 85, 90 years old, I'd love that life.
If you're up and moving.
Yeah, if you're up and moving, I say I want to keep going. But the minute my body starts shutting down, I'm like, okay, God, it's time.
Because these days we got streaming services. I mean, if I can't get off the
stay
couch,
in the bed all day and just catch up on all your shows.
Catch up on the shows I can't watch now.
Oh man, that's actually a good point, man. All the video games I could be playing all day long. Huh. I mean,
I
I'm
work 3 jobs now, so I could,
work that time later. I mean,
hey, slob, and
that's the point of having kids, right? So they take care of you at the end of your life, and you don't have to worry about it. I thought that's the whole point.
But you know how many years I paid for these streaming services?
I got 19 years for you, so you got 19 years to pay back to me. That's the way I look at it. But it is what it is. That's a hell of a run for Frank Layden. Prayers out to his family and everything.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And honestly, prayers to the Utah Jazz organization, everybody who is mourning his life at the moment. But hell of a man, one of the best coaches in terms of being entertaining in the NBA. There's still videos out there of this guy just being a wacky guy on the sideline. And he turned around a Utah Jazz organization that had no success up until that point at all and turned him into, well, the Malone and Stockton days that we all know them to be now. So it is a unfortunate passing, but one that we obviously are going to celebrate as much as we can. Let's take a break real quick, though, pay some bills. On the other side, we'll get into this whole cap salary nonsense for the NCAA. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? And honestly, now I'm hearing chirps that the MLB might be on their way for a cap salary as well. So Dodger fans, you're in trouble. This is the Early Bird Special on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. You know, as big of a Michael fan as you are, I'm surprised we don't get Michael more often.
I thought about it.
Honestly, I like back in the fantasy breakdown days, we had a
It was
Michael
all
song a
Michael
day,
every day.
every day.
I got subbed out with Lincoln Park.
Well, you don't have to do that. It's
I'm
all
trying to
good.
mix it up.
I like look, hey man, I'm all for a Lincoln Park song a day.
I like
Honestly.
the deep tracks, Michael. So
Yeah.
when I do play it, everyone's like, "Oh, I forgot
Yeah,
about
it's like,
Michael's
oh
song.
yeah,
I
that's
forgot
a
about
great
Michael.
Michael song. Well, everybody also forgets about a big piece of Michael's life that we don't get into right now. But
That was false.
jury's still out, in my opinion.
Jury is out. That we do have early bird special shirts.
Yes, we do. So if you want an early bird special shirt, and actually, I know we have a handful of them that we've already promised to 2 or 3 people, but you have to remember if you're one of those people, because I'm sorry, I don't. I've slept since then.
If you would like to win an early bird special, the time is now. Just text in anytime.
What are we gonna do though? They got to do something. We can't just give these
We'll see.
away.
We'll see.
These are
they weren't
valued
free.
pieces of shirts, man. These
They
are
weren't free.
nice.
Trust me, they were not free. And I got to give a big shout out to Next Gen because they did a great job with our shirts, and just a great family that runs that printing shop, and just make me have to order more.
Look, man, they got me my Judgment Day, SmackDown, and Raw versions of my shirt. I'm happy with it. I am a fan of, and they are the nicest and softest shirt. I wear these all the time.
And
I'm
so
still excited.
Trying to put a flag football team together.
We're working on it. Look, we got some reels in the water. Let's just say that we got some reels in the water. All we need is what? 5 guys, 4 guys, because we had a listener yesterday text in say that he will gladly play lineman for us
if they have a lineman position.
I'm just saying, yeah, if they have a lineman.
And this
position.
is a real deal field. Like they have the AI cameras. They're gonna have Sports Center highlights, and
I know half of you right now are thinking you want to relive your glory days.
Yeah, and if you want to put your own team together, just look up Rise Up Athletes on Instagram.
And we're not going to take it that seriously. Calm down. Like, don't get me wrong. We're going to take it a little seriously. There's going to be a little competitive nature, but we're not going to get crazy.
And can we have 10 players if a couple land on IR?
Probably.
Because I'm
we're
sure
going to have
it's
a
going to
lot
happen.
of guys on the IR right now. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll probably pull a hammy the first game. It's going to be ugly. But talking about football, let's get into this whole salary cap situation. Deion Sanders has come out at the Big 12 media day yesterday and pretty much said that it would help the competition part of the game if they actually put in a cap salary. And honestly, kind of agree with him. He even referenced that if you really look at the entire field for the college football playoff for this year, that it's going to be the exact same teams every single year because those are the teams that get paid the most money and can pay these kids the most amount of money. And I think the best point that he made is that you have players out here right now who really aren't that good. They're really not the guy. But because a school can sit there and pay him $500,000, he can swoop him away from any other college because, well, that's how much money you can pay the kid. And the kid's obviously going to go where he gets the most money.
And that's my issue with the whole transfer and the NIL.
Right.
Sanders mentioned, it's kind of obscene to see these big team programs spending $25-30 million in one recruiting class.
Right.
Which kind of makes the other teams just
But okay, devil's advocate here, as I usually do. Let's remember who's saying this. Deion Sanders, one of the most beloved football players and coaches in America right now. Do not get me wrong. But let's also remember that the Colorado Buffalo have gone from one of the most coveted transfer portals when he and his son showed up to towards the bottom of the barrel this year.
Yep.
Because, again, outside of Juju, the quarterback that he swung away from USC, hasn't really been able to swing away a whole ton of other talent. And I think the money aspect has a lot to do with that. I think Colorado being one of those teams that probably doesn't have a whole ton in terms of NIL money right now. They're probably fancy, but they're not.
So now that it affects him.
Exactly.
He's making a big whoop out of it.
And I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. Is that he realizes the competition side for me and the Colorado Buffalo is going to be a massive uphill battle from here until forever, until they fix this, because the closer this game continues to get to the NFL, the more you're going to need to make these adjustments in order to, to fix these problems. Because I agree with him. I think that the entire transfer portal situation right now needs some sort of guideline. You've got to figure out contracts. You've got to figure out some sort of cap salary, because honestly, having teams like Ohio State and Alabama and all of these teams, Clemson, whatever, your SEC
LSU,
team,
yeah.
LSU, they're going to be able to buy anybody. We talked about Notre Dame the other day, who's picking up former players' kids left and right. That's on purpose too. I don't care what people say or they don't say. Notre Dame is picking up these guys on purpose. I told you why the other day.
It helps the booster.
It does help the booster club 100%. If there is any any group of people that know how to boost their booster club the best, it's Catholics. I'm just going to leave it at that. And trust me, with former athletes coming in, you'll never have to pay for an athlete again. Think about it. When you have the next big wide receiver coming in, you could call Uncle Larry Fitzgerald, whose son came and played, have him and his son fly down for the weekend just to convince this kid to come play for Notre Dame. And they'll tell you, oh, and by the way, about $5 million of your contract's coming from me, big guy.
Yeah. And I mean, I like the idea. I back it 100%. And I do like the NIL part or the portal part when it comes to, say, a Rashard Matthews receiver that played for BC and gets a bigger opportunity because, he's in a smaller school and they don't have the money to pay him.
Right.
And we've talked to Chad Hathaway, who's trying to, put a booster club together where, these smaller schools can bring in more money, but there's only so much money and there's so many damn schools.
Yep.
There's always going to be a bigger school that has a bigger checkbook. And I think that's where it comes down to the salary cap, which could be beneficial for this sport and probably all sports in college. But it gets to where my flag is the portal. These players, if they, dedicate, okay, I'm going to go to this school, and then they get beat out or they catch a charge or they're going to get a suspension because they went to a religious school and they were not supposed to do that type of thing. But, they have to have some kind of contract.
Right.
They have to, or it's just going to be the same circus we're seeing now.
And I think that's what Deion's kind of preaching right now, is that if we're headed towards a more NFL-like organization or situation in the NCAA, you need to adopt what the NFL does. Because I almost did it again. The salary cap situation for the NFL is really more to keep the game competitive. If the NFL ever wiped away their salary cap, could you imagine how quickly teams like the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys would literally sign everyone?
Yep. It'd be the Dodgers.
It would be dumb. And honestly, that's what I think he's trying to preach here, is that while we are in essentially the wild, wild west of this NIL deal situation, I think that you need to figure out something in order of contracts is the biggest thing to me, because if you can somehow sign these guys to a multi-year situation where they can't leave, I think that's better, because that at least sets up a situation and understanding that you're not losing your player over a certain amount of years. And you don't have to worry about another school, much like Deion is saying, coming into, let's say Alabama wanted Juju from Colorado next year. And they just walked up and said, hey, I know Deion's paying you, I don't know, $15 million a year. We can offer you 30 to come play for Alabama for your last 2 years. Juju's obviously going to say, all right, deal. I'm out. See you. And then Colorado is left out in the dust. And that's what Deion's trying to stop, because it really does ruin the game. Because if we're just going to sit there and pay these players to go to specific schools, you might as well just have, okay, we're not a Power 5 conference. There's 10 teams in football that matter. The rest of you don't. And honestly, everybody who wants to get paid, you want to play for these 10 teams. And then those 10 teams are only going to be in the playoffs every single year. And honestly, it's going to kill the game, because that's the quickest way to kill any kind of sport, is to have the playoffs or the championship be settled down to a handful of teams. Look at the NBA. When it was the Warriors and the Cavs every single year for half a decade, they had never been lower. The viewership was awful back then. Why? Because the regular season had no point to it whatsoever. And honestly, same with the playoffs. No one cared about the playoffs because everybody knew who was going to be in the finals. It was going to be Steph and it was going to be LeBron. That's the only time people cared.
Yeah, and these young kids, of course, they have the ability to make more money. They're going to chase it. But I think they need to, yes, get a salary cap. But the number one thing is the contracts, and number two is the financial literacy type deal, because not only are sports betting been a big major thing, but even outside the football field is the criminal side of it, whether it's speeding or I won't even say the word, but it's just the other things, is maybe preparing them for the next step of professional sports.
I was thinking about that because we did bring that up on the show the other day. Do you think that colleges should make it mandatory for all athletes to take at least a or multiple financial courses while they're on campus, no matter what their major is?
1000%.
I was thinking about that because it's like if high school's not going to do it, if a high school is not going to teach your kid how to do their taxes or how to handle all of this money, I think that needs to be mandatory for college athletes at least. Even if you're not going to be a business major or whatever, if you don't want to go into finance, I get it. But I think that there needs to be courses where it's mandatory for these kids, especially if you're getting NIL money, for that purpose. So you could teach these guys, hey, this is how you handle your money. If you don't want to go around this, fine, do whatever you want to do, but you're going to most likely lose all the money that you're making.
And they should probably started earlier.
Honestly, they should. That's why I'm a firm believer they should start it in high school, but they should start that in high school in general, just to teach people how to do their taxes, because nobody knows how to do that. I think, though, for athletes, it should be a mandatory thing going forward that you have to take some sort of business or financial courses just so you know what to do with the money that you are being given and how you can allocate that towards a better future. Because I think right now, with the millions upon millions of dollars that these guys are getting paid just in college alone, is altering their lives and opening doors to both good and bad situations that could just change everything for them. And if you do not give them the proper guidance and intelligence to actually be able to, move forward in that, you're just setting them up for failure.
100%.
So
that's got to be a step towards that. And I mean, I hope he catches on, but we'll take our last break of the hour. We've got Anthony from the Well Comedy Club coming in at 8:00. So we'll spend this last segment getting into this, but on the flip side, maybe baseball should be next with the salary cap. We'll talk about that and much more right here on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. This is the early bird special. Final segment of the first hour. We're going to sit down and talk with our guy Anthony from the Well, talk about their upcoming shows. Hopefully, get you guys out there and go check out some great comedy over the weekend. But we got to get into one final story before we get to that, and that is that baseball is finally considering a salary cap themselves. Finally. Of course, this story broke right as I was leaving this place yesterday, too. I could not print it out. But the essential idea, much like we said just with the NCAA, baseball has had a need for a salary cap for a long time. Long time. And I think these contracts have really started to show people that you kind of need to make some sort of adjustment to make it easier for baseball teams to be competitive. I think that this is a good step forward for baseball. And hear me out. I get that baseball has been traditional and that you should be able to allocate the money any way you want as long as the owner actually pays the player. Who cares? Totally get that. But when you have teams, and again, I know I keep using, you know what? No, I'm not going to use them. I'll use the Yankees. I'll use the Yankees
Or the Mets.
or the Mets. We beat up on the Dodgers entirely too much. I'll use the Yankees and the Mets. Two teams that have done nothing but buy pieces for the last couple decades, and nothing has come out of it. It is rough for baseball to be able to say that you can actually just have teams buy up everybody and people are going to be excited about the product. We've seen it the last couple of years. Most people I talk to have three major gripes against baseball. One, the game is boring. Okay. I mean, if the sport's not something you're interested in,
you're
it's
not a
going to be
baseball
boring.
fan.
Exactly. There's a lot of people that say basketball is boring. I find you absolutely ridiculous if you look at me and say basketball is boring.
Me too.
Wild take there, youngin. Two would be that the season is too long, much like Sparky said yesterday. A lot of you guys can't sit there for 162 games. 100% understand that. Personally, I'm a baseball fan. More baseball. I'm 100% on the board. Three, though, is that teams literally just buy up championships. There has been a long stereotype in baseball that the Dodgers and the Yankees will always be good because they just buy every player, and nobody like teams like Miami or Seattle or Kansas City can't hold on to players because obviously the price tag is way different. The only issue I see with them putting a I keep doing that salary cap into baseball is that you have to get your owners to pay. That is really the big problem.
And see, that's the gripe I get from Dodger fans every time I
Right.
bring it up is, dude, they're all billionaires. Why aren't they paying? That's their problem, not ours.
Absolutely. And I think that that's 100% fair because if there is one sport where you could say that, that's baseball. Football and all that type of stuff, you can't say that because obviously there's a cap salary. You can only have a certain amount. And football obviously wants to contain these contracts before they get ridiculously out or overpriced. And you can't afford any major stars on your team outside of maybe one. Baseball, though, has always come down to what is your owner willing to put down to build a team. So that's kind of why I agree with them that, hey, your owner could put down the same amount of money. Completely understand and agree with that. But then you have owners like the Oakland A's owner who don't want to put down any money, period, and would just prefer the funds coming back to them and their team
Hence
playing.
the reason to go into Vegas.
Exactly. And to hopefully change that. But it is just, it bugs me because that is arguably the best argument against this is that your owner could have done this. And I agree. I absolutely agree with that. But when you allow owners to both be on both sides of the spectrum, don't want to pay at all or pay way too much, you still have a problem. Two things can be true at the same time. That's why we got to bring it back to the middle. Just like the NCAA, make it competitive by allowing teams to only pay a certain amount of money. Now, is this going to change your team right now? No. I doubt that they will have anything in there to break up teams if this does end up happening.
Yeah,
Again,
it would take years to catch up.
Exactly. And baseball is so slow when it comes to this stuff. They really
These
are.
10, 12-year deals.
Yeah, we'll probably be talking about this for the next decade before they even put it up to vote. But it is just one of those situations where I think it is necessary for the game. But I see people's argument against it of, hey, your owner could have done the same thing and your team could have done this. I mean, I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan, obviously, and Philly has just started realizing, hey, we could actually dip into funds and pay for people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it hasn't worked out for Philly, unfortunately. It's starting to look like the Yankees, but it's an organization that's actually learning that that's kind of how baseball works.
Well, just a fan of the actual sport in general, not a fan to root for quite yet. But I think it just would bring the competition back,
Absolutely.
and that's what I think baseball is lacking.
And I agree with you, because I think the best thing about organizations like the NFL and the NBA, especially the NBA, is that there are multiple stars on every single team.
Exactly.
Outside of, okay, the NBA, I guess, outside of guys like Washington and stuff like that, they still haven't found that guy yet. But the vast majority of teams have 2 to 3 stars. If you could do that on baseball's terms too, like, imagine if we did set up a salary cap and Seattle was able to hold on to Julio, and they were able to hold on to players like Cal and all of these other stuff. And they weren't worried that the Yankees were going to come in and steal their kidneys.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you would actually be able to build something in Seattle.
It actually makes the scouting and the draft actually important.
Matter. Yeah, players won't have to worry about that as much. I mean, I think it's a good step forward, obviously, for logical reasons and just straightforward reasons. I'm sure in behind the scenes in the organization, there's a whole bunch of issues you're going to have to jump through, especially since a lot of these contracts are already structured when they weren't salary cap ridden. So guys like Shohei Ohtani's contract, you may just have to say, you know what, that's a pass, because
Probably
it's
bring
so
the loyalty
complicated.
back.
Yeah, that too. You'll have players much more likely being staying with teams, much like Mike Trout did with the Angels. And honestly, let's take the Angels as an example.
That's what I was just going to say. Trout.
What if the Angels had a salary cap and they didn't have to worry about the Dodgers and everybody coming in and stealing Shohei away from them? You know what I mean? Like, there are opportunities that are there that could easily fix a lot of problems in baseball and have fans of teams actually want to watch the product. Because a lot of these teams genuinely feel like they're just a feeder league for a bigger organization, even though they're part of the MLB. Like, yeah, you always have that little faint hope of a championship run in your heart every single year. Everybody does. But for some teams, Kansas City most of the time, Seattle a lot of the time, Miami a lot of the time, that fades very, very quickly. And then they feel like, well, all we're going to do is trade away all these pieces to guys like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets, because that's what organizations do. And then we restart. And then we essentially build up a prospect for somebody else. You bring in a cap salary, you probably won't have that issue anymore. You could actually hold on to these guys. You don't have to worry about these teams coming in and, like I said, stealing away your hearts and your kidneys, as they said on Moneyball.
And I think fans would come back for the smaller cities.
I think so too. And I think that's desperately what you need right now. You need to pack out stadiums. And again, as I said the other day, make baseball fun again. That's the biggest piece. That's why I don't understand. I know we have that one texter. It's like, no. Look, man, make baseball fun again. You'll get people my age and younger actually jumping back in. And then everybody wins. Your team gets more money to spend. Your games get more exciting. Everybody's having a good time. And you throw in a cap salary on top of that, and now we have small market teams actually have a chance for once. What do you know? Sorry, Dodger fans. We got to take a break, though, pay some bills. We'll talk to our friends at the Well right after this. This is the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield. I mean, we could talk a little bit about it. I'm not done. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special Hour 2. And real quick, I don't want to jinx her, but an American is right on the cusp of beating the #1 seed in Wimbledon right now. Is Amanda Anisimova. I always butcher these people's last names. Tennis is one of the worst, but is on the brink of beating Ariana Sabalenka in 3 sets.
So you got that one right.
Well, Sabalenka, it's kind of hard not to get that one right when all you hear is her name. So when it comes to women's tennis, there's like 4 names you hear, and she's easily one of the top ones.
And that's why I didn't try to list the hockey all-star team.
Yeah, I'm not even like, look, we'll get somebody that's a hockey fan in here to do that because they know the names well better than we do. However, it'd be really cool to see an American for the first time since Serena Williams make it to Wimbledon's final. We'll see here in the next couple minutes. We got our guy from the well in here, though. Anthony is back with us.
Try saying his last name.
Yeah, try saying my last name.
Howdy, right?
That's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
Yeah, it's actually Howdy J, as
Howdy
they said
J.
at my college graduation. No, it's Howdy G. You said it right. You
Oh,
said it right.
They said that at your college
Yeah,
graduation?
high school. I think first grade substitute teacher. Everyone called me Howdy J. That's why my nickname is Jaguar. People call me Jaguar.
Really?
Yeah, they call me Jaguar because it looks like the word Jaguar, but it's Howdy G. Howdy G. No, yeah.
And if you're watching the video, he's got the dope shirt on. I have to give out some love to Going Underground Records.
Welcome to Bakersfield. Now leave
Right?
with what is this duck from? I remember this duck from the '90s. I feel like my cousin from
It was
LA
on
had
everything.
Is that
Yeah.
Howard? Is that Howard the Duck, or are we
Is it?
going? I don't even know.
This is duck, but you know, I walk
How do
like
you know Howard the Duck?
What do you mean? How do I know Howard the Duck? If
You-
you're a
you-
Marvel fan, you know who Howard the Duck is.
How did you know Howard the Duck? Sorry,
I love that movie, dude. That was
Dude,
one of
that
my
movie
favorites
is
growing up.
Fantastic.
But
I
he
mean,
plays the young card whenever he wants. But he
Look,
pulls out
look,
some Howard the Duck stuff. So I'm like,
I have an
Oh,
old
okay.
soul at times. I may not be making foot fetish jokes all the time.
oh,
but
dude, I
have-
thought we were gonna get through a whole interview without
no,
bringing
never.
up the foot.
Never. He's never living that down. Ever
Yeah,
again.
trust me, in public, everyone just calls me the foot guy. So,
There you go, see?
I have people approach me with their
So
shoes
you're the
off.
Jaguar and the foot guy.
I'm
See,
the
those
Ja-
are 2 weird nicknames that you can run around.
There's a few
Weird.
more in there too. I just don't want to say them out
There you
loud
go.
on the radio. you
Some
know?
of them are not
They
radio
might stick.
appropriate.
Yeah, I don't know if I could plug my OnlyFans on here, but
You can plug whatever you want, brother, but I
course
ain't
you
gonna be.
can.
Oh, I
signed up.
plug whatever I want on my OnlyFans. Okay. I mean, anyway. Catch me
Oh,
at
good
Anthony.
Lord. Let's get on a topic before we get ourselves into trouble here. How are you? How's everything at the well?
Good. I just saw their website. Our website. We have every Thursday at Ava's room at the Fox Theater. We have My Night,
Naturally,
the pregame show. Go check it out.
tonight.
Yes.
When do doors open again? I apologize.
Doors open at 6:00. Show starts at 7:11 because
Fantastic.
we like 7-Eleven and we're always late. So no, it's we're always late. But the show starts. It's a good time. If you ever want to do stand-up comedy and you're in town, go check it out. We had some dude go up from like Porterville last week out of
Really?
town. Yeah, he wore flip-flops. Had never seen a microphone in his entire life. He went up there for 9 minutes. I gave him
Wow.
a light at 4, so he did terrible. But he tried it out, and you guys
He
also
did terrible.
Yeah, he
Aw.
did
But he
bad.
went 9 minutes.
Yeah, he did 9, and I was
Well,
getting.
so he did 9 minutes without your guys' permission. is what
Well,
you're
without
telling
my
me.
permission,
Yeah.
I was standing up.
He was like, bro, I was trying to get you off about 10 minutes ago. What the hell are you doing?
I was trying to get you off as soon as you got on when you told me you were from Porterville. I had a cane and I was trying to do that. Like you like pull him off.
Pull him off.
Yeah. I'm an old soul. Sorry, I don't know if you get that
that's
reference.
awesome. Let me off, Johnny.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, I mean, we talk about this with you almost every time you have you on, but how
Feet?
often are you guys
Oh.
getting more people come up there now?
Comedians. I mean, listen, guys, listen. I'm just gonna be honest here. Dave Chappelle is not going to an open mic. I'm telling you guys.
No,
I'm telling
no.
you. Dave Chappelle is not.
Well, at least
gonna
not here in Bakersfield,
Yeah,
but he
may-
might show
may-
up to the comedy club once or
exactly.
twice.
Maybe in Ohio where he lives and he can show up and be there for 4 hours. Listen, we don't have 5-star, 10-star, whatever the blue star recruit talent of comedy is at open mics, but we have people that try and they have guts. Okay, and that sometimes you have people with the effort and they
Mhm.
try, and that is enough for you to go and check it out. And It's good.
Look, brother, I've always said, even the guy who was up there for 9 minutes that probably shouldn't have been, I guarantee you right now, every friend group that was in there had a great time making fun of that guy right there.
Yeah, at least they were quiet. Maybe they were doing it in their heads, but no,
they're all in a group chat saying, "Man, they got to pull this guy off stage."
Man, someone pull the fire alarm. Someone call a bomb threat or something. Yeah,
we've had some great times at the open mics.
Yeah,
and
dude,
that's the first time I've seen a lot of these local comedians that are still doing, weekly shows.
And that's the cool part, is that these comedians that you're referencing, like the Boydsons, the Hackers, the whoever, the Dans, you have they're kind of like I don't want to call it the diamond in the rough, because I don't want to call these people diamonds, but yeah, you have better comedians come throughout a night when there's a night of amateur, really beginners. So
it's the
like
cubic zirconium of comedy.
There we go. I was gonna say rose gold, but
there you go. That works too.
Yeah, they're a little tan, but no, it's a good time. Go check it out.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, obviously your guys' shows obviously are entertaining every single time. How often are you guys getting like new people or people that haven't tried comedy?
One every open mic. One every open mic.
Okay.
There's someone that I don't know if I can say Poppy Strawberry, but you get
Strawberry,
whatever. I don't want to say the actual thing, but you can figure out what I'm saying. Listen, if you get people go there for the first time, it's like one a week, and then there's a couple people in there that have been doing it 10-15 years. Some dudes have been in there 4 or 5 years, like me. It's always a good mixed bag, and sometimes you'll see someone go up there and you'll think, man, they've been doing it for 11 years, they suck. And
still haven't figured out yet.
Still haven't figured out that they gotta quit. No, so it's that's part of the allure of an open mic, is like you don't, it's not be the best comedy, but going and seeing people like go and embarrass themselves is just funny, dude.
Right.
It's just, we like ridiculousness and America's Funniest Home Videos. It's the same thing, but they're saying racial slurs and talking about their body or something. I don't know.
And then obviously you guys are still in the process of moving. So where are these at again?
This is at the Fox Theater, downtown Bakersfield, Ava's Room. It's a little side corridor area on the outside. Just go to the building. You'll see people hanging out, smoking cigarettes outside. That'll be me. But the new location will be just a couple blocks away on 18th Street.
I heard it's coming soon.
Yeah, they put the sign up. The walls are black.
The sign's up.
It looks like my bedroom over there. It's great. It's gonna be awesome, dude. I think maybe have to fight with a couple unhoused people, but that's all right. I need some boxing lessons. If anyone out there's listening. But no, it's gonna be a good time.
Well, I'm in the middle of moving downtown with Money Wise, so we'll be right down the street. So we'll run into you a lot more. And we were pumped. We had bets on a couple weeks ago that was talking about, who he's hoping early August.
Yes.
So hopefully nothing. I know with moving, and especially with an older building. Yeah. Which you guys, if you don't know, the Well Comedy Club is moving into the old Fish Lips. It's been 20 other things since then, but it's we've got many memories. I know Betts was talking about splitting it into separate rooms and having a whole VIP room and all this extra stuff. So we're pumped to see, bringing back full-time comedy down here in Kern County. But the ABA shows, I haven't made it out there quite yet because I have my son on Thursdays, and I know
hey, listen, I get it. Family's important, but not this important. Okay, Sparky. I feel like you guys can wait. You guys can go do something another time. All right, you got to come out to comedy night. Okay, Sparky.
You can bring it with you to comedy night. Ain't nothing. He's old enough.
You've obviously never seen the open mic show.
Trust me, with what these high school kids are telling each other these days.
Hey, skibbity boop bop or whatever.
Exactly. Skibbity Riz and all that. Like, I don't even know
we used
anymore.
to say something else with Riz. I'm just saying.
Well, we can't get into that.
They're a whole different kind these days.
Exactly. But dude, it's interesting to me though that you guys have been able to keep this going, obviously. And even though Fish Lips has been a million different things, obviously it's going to be the Well from here on out, or at least for the foreseeable future. We would hope. What have you guys kind of done to the venue differently that people can expect?
From all the updates I've received, they painted over the graffiti in the bathroom.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that was desperately needed.
I personally requested a diabetes urine tester on the urinals in the bathroom. Dan said he's going to talk to his wife about that. We'll see if we can get that in there.
I don't think he's going to go with that one, but
hey, listen, I got diabetes type 2, but no, I think they've cut off into 3 different sections. I don't know if you know this building downtown 18th Street. They used to be like a Salvadorian pupusa spot.
Mhm.
That's not a slur in Spanish. That's a Spanish dish. Okay, a pupusa spot, and then right next to it was fish lips. What they did is they tore down the wall between the restaurant and the comedy club. They're expanding it. And I think one room will be another room, like a lunch, like, happy hour type spot. And then the main room will be where you go see shows and stuff. Then I'm sure they're plan on doing something maybe in the back. There's a little patio area, something like that. So
Fantastic.
where you can indulge in your.
You don't have to walk out into the front to go smoke your cigarette.
And fight a homeless guy for a cigarette.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You feel safe in the back.
Exactly.
I know he's also brought up being open during the day for
Yes.
lunch.
Mhm.
So it's not just going to be the evening type thing like it was over on White Lane.
Yeah, you go grab some lunch, grab a drink, and go back to your work all drunk and stuff. So, I mean, it's not nothing I do today, but I mean, I'm self-employed, but
there you go. If you're your own boss, then no one can get you in trouble, my friend. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's why I'm broke. But yeah.
We're all broke.
Look, brother,
Welcome to the world.
you do what you love, and unfortunately, your wallet pays for it. That's all that matters.
100%.
Is there any major shows you want to shout out right now, real quick?
I'm a big fan
Besides
of,
yours, obviously.
No, I'm a big fan of White Lotus on Hulu. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I saw the
check-
first season. I couldn't watch the second after that.
Yeah,
You haven't seen Schwarzenegger's Kid?
No.
Schwarzenegger's Kid's apparently the highlight of the rest
Hey,
of that
he's from
show.
Bakersfield, isn't he?
No, this is not the one from
Okay.
Bakersfield. No,
Not
this
the
is not the
maid's-
one. This is not the.
It's not the maid's
no,
kid?
This is not the maid's
He's a
kid.
maid's kid. Yeah.
It's not the maid's kid. I had the same thought actually. I was like, is this the maid's kid?
I'm
No.
like, oh, good for him. He found a career.
Somebody tells me too that she still lives in that house. I'm like, bro, if you still live in that house after everything, good on you. But what are you doing? Get out of there.
She walks out of the house. She's like, I'll be back. And he
Dude,
never
could you
was.
imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my god. He left for the milk and never came home. No, like any like major comedy shows though that you guys got? Nothing?
No.
Not at the moment.
So no.
I mean, well,
you
there's
can
a
always
little
check it out.
way
It's
to
the
go.
willcomedyclub.com. I got to drive by it after the show because I didn't know the sign was up.
Yeah,
I know, I
the,
didn't go
the
see it.
sign's up. Yeah, go check it out. It's facing east. Sorry, west. Anyway, but no,
Depending on where I'm standing, I don't
Yeah,
know where the hell that is.
exactly. Yeah, I'm like,
they
I
have
know the
freeway.
east side's that way. No way, it's that way.
besides the freeway, I'm not sure.
we have August 23rd. I just saw on the calendar. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if
No.
Steph Tolev, check it out. She is so funny. This lady. I don't know if it's gonna be at the New Well or at the Nile,
Mm.
but Steph Tolev later this year. She is so funny.
Really?
So she's this Greek. I think it's not Greek. I think she's this lady from Canada. Does a lot of improv. She has a big nose. She's real. She's real blue, which is like has a lot of like sex jokes, like that kind of stuff. And it is just funny. Like she's just funny. Like you got it. Like you thought Cactus Day was funny. Like imagine someone 20 plus years more. Like
Really?
she's in, like
See, I love Cactus.
she was funny, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if
I
you
love Cactus.
Did you go to those shows?
Uh-huh.
I opened it. You didn't say hi to me.
No, we were late.
Okay. Well,
See, that's why.
I've
didn't even
seen
see
you
your
live,
son.
though.
That's
That's
what it
time
is.
to
I've
go.
seen you live before. Back up the car. Start the
Well,
challengers.
No, you got Steph Tolev, Jim Norton later this year.
Oh,
Jim
nice.
Norton, a New York comedy legend. Hans Kim was supposed to be this week or around in July, but it
Mhm.
just got moved to September. Check all that out at thewellcomedyclub.com. But if you want to see me, I'll be actually performing up north tonight.
fantastic.
I'll be at Exeter. So if you're in
You're
Exeter,
not going to be at the open mic.
I
What?
have a guest host.
Okay.
But he's good. He's good. He's
Is it
been doing,
Nathan?
he started comedy yesterday. So he's gonna be-
It's the 9-minute guy.
So it's not that guy.
It's the 9-minute flip flop guy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you were so bad. Hey, can you host tomorrow?
Yeah, it's like
you want a
maybe
job?
comedy's not your thing, but you could bring people up on stage for me. Oh man, well that's awesome. We can't wait to check that out. And
Yeah.
on real quick, the American one. So we got an American in the Wimbledon final.
Mhm.
Amanda and Anisimova was able to beat Sabalenka in 3 sets.
Oh, okay.
You told me off the air that you kind of follow tennis. Do
I
you
do.
have
I'm
somebody?
actually I'm a tennis player myself.
Really?
I'm
Are you?
at Jastro Park every Monday at 8 p.m. if you want to go
I
get
grew,
ran
Castro.
through.
I grew up playing, but I was awful, so
Oh,
I'm not going to
dude.
do that
Yeah,
way.
you
But
would think the fat guy saying that.
No,
but,
So
do you
now
have do you have a favorite in this year's Wimbledon? then?
I'm a huge sucker for Carlos
Are you?
Alcaraz. Yeah, because he's Spanish. That's how you say it, Alcaraz. I like Carlos. Shelton's cool, but I don't know if he got eliminated.
He did. He got eliminated yesterday,
and
unfortunately.
He's a baby. Oh yeah, he lost to Sinner, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that fool does like the crazy serves, hits it hard, and then he loses, has his head down all. Anyway,
moping
but,
like Angel Reese.
Yeah, honestly, he's a lovable guy when he's happy, but you're right. When he loses,
Yeah,
that
it's
all
like-
of that just gets sapped out of him, and it's
that's-
kind of sad to watch on
Exactly.
television.
That's why I like a tennis player that is just even keeled. They're winning, they're the same. They're losing, they're the same. I hate when these fools are like, "Oh, I lost."
Screw you, I'm going home.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Dude, you just won $100,000 and you flew to France and played tennis. Shut up.
Yeah, right? I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah.
So obviously the men's side of this, we have Taylor Fritz and
Yes.
Carlos going.
Yeah,
So that's going to be tomorrow, and then Yannick Sinner and Novak Djokovic will be the other side. So who's your final out of those?
Oh, okay. I think Carlos is for sure going to beat Taylor, but that's just because Americans in the men's side don't usually make it.
No,
to-
they don't.
to
But
win.
wouldn't it be great to see an American on both
It
sides,
would,
though?
it
Like
would.
Taylor
That-
Fritz pulls off an upset here. That'd be really cool to
I
talk about.
low key, I would like to see that. I would like to see that, especially because Taylor Fritz is Leonardo DiCaprio's twin brother. I don't know if you guys knew
Dude,
that.
I was thinking this. That guy looks
Dude.
exactly like him, doesn't he?
It does.
You
dude.
put a sweat rag across Leo's head, and you could put him out in the court and
Yeah,
be exactly
dude.
the same guy.
Yeah, I heard they both like 24-year-olds, but yeah,
Who doesn't?
Hey,
I'm just saying.
Sparky, you're right.
He's absolutely correct.
I
I
can
don't
like
know a
him.
single.
I-
Yeah, you
I
can like
don't
him.
have to
Don't
do
mean you
anything
get him. You
creepy
can like
about
him
it.
though.
I love him, but
All right, so we got Carlos on the other side. Who you got, Novak or Sinner?
oh, I think if Novak can stay healthy, Novak, but Sinner will probably get him because he's young and like number one right
The
now.
number one. player
And
in the
Novak,
world.
I don't know what the score was last time, but I think Novak played. I don't know if it was Carlos or whoever, but he lost in the French Open because he got hurt.
I believe it was Carlos. If I
yeah.
remember right, he played Carlos.
So either way, like Carlos and Alex Sinner are both top of the world right now, literally 1 and 2. So you're expecting to see them. I really don't think Taylor is going to pull it out. I don't think if Djokovic stays healthy, he could, but he's already old, and nothing against people older than 24 years old. But I mean, you gotta.
So obviously that would mean a Carlos v Novak final, which I'm assuming you're taking Alcaraz with all of it.
I'm probably gonna take Sinner.
All
Now
right.
that I say it, I know I was saying Novak if he stay healthy, but I'll probably take Sinner
Okay.
and Alcaraz.
Sinner Alcaraz. Okay, and I'm assuming you're taking Carlos regardless of who makes it out of the other side.
He's due for a loss. He's won 20 straight, 21 straight, or something like that, and he's the last year's winner, I think. And he just won the French Open, so he's bound to lose.
At some point.
I think Wimbledon might be it, but I haven't been. I usually don't watch the entire matches. I watch like the highlights, the ones, but I haven't seen how he's been playing this year. But I think he's undefeated like 20 matches, so I think he'll definitely get in there. But yeah, if you want to play some tennis with me at Jasper, I'm looking for a hitting partner. It sucks hitting the wall alone.
If I can go and find another racket, brother, I will gladly.
I
go play
got
with you.
2 rackets in the back of my truck right
Hey,
now.
I got
Really?
4.
Yeah,
dog.
let's go.
There you go.
Like screw the flag football team. We're gonna go play tennis.
Oh, that's what I was gonna bring up. I heard you guys talking about that.
Are you gonna jump on the team? Is that what's happening here?
Hey, I know I'm 280, but you need a free
Hey,
safety.
we need a 280. Every
Look,
team
brother,
needs a
it's
280.
team. It's a 7-man team, right? 7-man team. So we'll take.
Oh, dude,
We'll take
I'm
what
on
comes
it, dude. I got the cleats, I got the shin guards, I got a freaking
What are we
hammock
waiting
for my
on?
junk. I've got it all.
Let's
dude.
go.
Dude, I need to go
Yeah.
get cleats. That's my problem. I don't have my cleats anymore. I threw those suckers away.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm
it's-
retired. This is done.
Not gonna lie, dude, it was a little embarrassing at 27 years old going and buying football cleats and knowing it's not for a team. Nothing. It's just I'm gonna go play with my boys.
Is this
at
for
the
your
park.
son? Yeah, they're for my son.
That's
what
for
it
my
is.
son. He's size 13.
Yeah.
a
That's a
big
big
boy.
kid. Yeah, he's a big boy. I don't know what to tell you. He eats a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we got 3 now.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
We're
me
halfway
and that other
through.
linebacker, whoever was on that.
Exactly. Oh man. Well, good. I see the team is growing.
Yeah,
Sparky.
it's
You
coming
were working.
together.
We
got
got
it,
4
dude.
guys now. We just need 3 more.
I tried to get Flail. He said,
Yeah,
Flail,
he
you're
likes
a great
wrestling.
wide
No,
receiver. I mean, we put him out there. He'd at least get people's attention.
you could make jokes on the side, whatever.
Exactly.
I feel like he'd be a good coach.
Yeah.
Chris Flo would be a great coach. He'd motivate you, slap you around, and make you laugh.
Exactly.
I think I like that.
As long as he wears the yeet.
Yeah, I
hat.
was just about to say he comes dressed up as Macho Man to practice one day.
I could do that. Let's go.
Before we let you go, though, we got to talk a little bit of football.
Let's do
Are
it.
you ready for football
Let's-
season? What are we feeling?
I am ready. I just thought about going back to school and applying for the NCAA, knowing that Deion Sanders is going to start playing football players. But I know you guys already talked about that. But
Look, brother, I think it's necessary, especially with these kids
Really?
making millions upon millions of dollars in the NIL. Heck yeah.
Okay, yeah,
and he
you're
makes a good point that you're just going to have these teams like Ohio State and Alabama walk into any college across the
Yeah.
country, look at their best player and say, what are you making? We'll double it if you come and play for us.
well, that's how the world is, isn't it? That's like you have headhunters that literally go to businesses. They're like, "Hey, Starbucks CEO, we'll pay you this much to come run McDonald's." now."
100%.
Like,
I get that.
You know, but I think it is crazy to be making like,
Well, especially as a college kid. How do you feel about with the thing that I brought up a couple minutes ago, that college athletes now should be required to take some sort of business or finance classes in order to kind of understand the money that they're getting from these NIL deals?
I feel like that you should be taking business classes in preschool. If we're
Yep.
being honest,
Honestly,
you should be
right.
learning how to not give away your lunch money to the other kids. You should be learning how to invest that into buying like a Little Caesars
Exactly.
pizza for the week as a kid or something.
Learn how to actually do your taxes instead of handing it off to somebody every week.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I
we
gave it to
wouldn't-
my mom until I was 26. You
Yeah.
know? So
Exactly.
yeah,
We wouldn't hear about like the 8-year-old YouTube star, that's getting robbed by his parents.
yes,
Mhm.
we need that kid. Yeah, that kid definitely shouldn't be making
Well,
that
shoot,
much.
Not even just the YouTube star. We're just about to get into this story on the other side, but Dallas Turner, the defensive end for Minnesota, just got conned out of $240,000.
Oh, I saw this. I was happy because it was a Vikings fan as a Packers
Yes.
fan, but I was like,
But I'm sitting here like, so obviously it's not just old people
Yes.
that are getting conned out
Yes.
of their money.
Like,
It's younger
A
guys
couple
too.
days before that, Rashad Jones, former Dolphin
Yeah.
safety, got burned
Burned
for
out of-
$2.5 million from a financial advisor.
And that's why I'm like,
Oh.
see, so these people need to know where their money's being
Yes.
sent and who's holding on to it and how it's being used. So that's why I feel like, although I agree with you, we should really start business classes back in junior high, if not sooner. But if we're going to be giving these kids millions upon millions of dollars in college to go play a sport, they should be required to take some sort of class that teaches them the easy way to actually allocate that money.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a lot more useful than the prerequisite of making students take improv so that they
Right.
so like they could publicly speak better.
Like,
How about hold on to your money better,
Look,
kid?
brother, I went to a Catholic school my entire life. I will tell you right now, theology class was pointless.
Yeah.
Give me a finance course
Yes,
instead.
yeah.
I don't need to read about the Bible every single year of my life. It's
Yeah.
the same story.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
know
change.
David beat the giant. I know that the whale was a thing. I don't need to read about it every single year.
I didn't know that. I got to take a theology class.
Dog, it's the dumbest
Like,
thing
what?
in the world. I'm sorry. I again grew up a Catholic, still am one to this day. I will gladly go to church and repent for this, but
Yeah.
theology courses do not need to be a thing in high school.
That's
They
what I said
really
about
don't.
PE, dude. And look at me now. So all
Well,
I'm saying is
PE does need to be a course, though. That's the problem.
Well,
Maybe if
we had to
PE,
do
it
a
would
government
actually
and econ,
Oh, I remember
See,
government and
those are
econ.
fun.
and it was
yeah.
econ was learning how to run a checkbook.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
like,
like,
that's what I learned too. I was like, you go into econ thinking you're going to learn how to actually handle your money, right? No, you learn more about what the government does with your money.
They need to learn
and,
more
like,
about
how
credit.
Yeah,
All I
exactly.
remember about econ was macro and microeconomics, and I don't know what either of them
Exactly.
are.
I was like, can you even tell me what that means, though?
Do you guys remember
No.
having to memorize what is the First Amendment or like the Bill of Rights?
Had
or
to
like
read it in
some-
front of the
government
class.
class.
and
Yep.
have to read it in front of government class, dude. Spanish was my first language, dude. I chopped that thing up. I couldn't say it, dude. It was
Nah.
bad.
My
It was
first day
bad.
of high school, I had to take Spanish. They put me in Spanish speaking.
Oh, no.
So I'm like the only white boy sitting in the back.
and
and
you
they're
have
like-
no
and you
clue
had
what
to
they're
say your
saying.
name, where you were from in
They're like, oh,
Spanish.
he's from the white part of Mexico.
I'm like,
He's-
yeah, okay, well, I'm in the wrong class.
Oh, it's okay, Widow. We'll find a spot for you.
There you go.
It's horrible. It's horrible. What do you
Oh,
think?
man.
How do you think the Packers just going in off season? How are they going to finish?
And how do you feel about this entire growing sentiment that Jordan is now the peak
Mahomes.
quarterback? Yeah, like he's the Mahomes now.
That's what they're
Well, I don't
talking.
know, who's they and them
The-
and
the-
when is
The
ESPN, bro.
ESPN
I've been
world.
seeing it
No,
all
dude,
over
they
the
have
place
not,
that
dude.
Jordan
They-
has been saying that Jordan Love is the next
no,
the
he's
next
not.
Step. I
He's
swear to you.
not. He like
He's a fantastic quarterback.
Listen, he's from the 661. We gotta show him love for that. But honestly, dude, what I've seen, he was injured all last year, but I don't see him. Like, I think he's probably like he's just gonna be mid at best.
Really?
Yeah,
Mid?
I don't like how he's been mid. He's the middle quarterback. He's like in top 10, 20. Like he's
So
not.
would you put him under like a Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy went to the Super Bowl.
quarterback.
Brock Purdy went to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, but you look at what Brock has to work with compared to what you guys have to work with. Let's be fair here. He's got Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, and Brandon.
Yeah,
Ayuk
but
and George
Debo
Kittle.
Samuel weighs as much as me, and he didn't catch a thing last year.
And neither did Christian Watson, but he's better than Christian Watson.
Yeah, you're right.
So
I know now we got this first round receiver, Tate or Golden. No,
Yeah.
that's another.
not Golden
that's,
Tate,
yeah,
but
Matt,
Marcus Golden or Matthew Golden.
Matthew Gold, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just like, you know what, guys, like when the games start, I'll start paying attention because all I hear right now is hoopla, a first round pick, Jordan Love this, Jordan Love that, Jordan.
I'm just glad they're not talking about Aaron Rodgers anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, and now he's on TV right here. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh,
bring
Lord.
the
No,
ball
he is.
here,
He's
but-
above my head. On
yeah,
Good Morning
he's on.
America.
He's
They're
with the
still talking about
Steelers.
him.
Someone just asked me, they're like, Anthony, so how do you feel? Your boy Aaron Rodgers is on the Steelers. I'm like, he's not my boy.
He hasn't
dude.
been your guys'
That's
boy
like
in
when
how
someone's
long?
like, hey, your ex-girlfriend's married now and has 3 kids, and that was 6 years ago. I don't care. Like, that's her life.
There's niggas like, oh, I used to do that too. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's like I used to cheer on Aaron Rodgers, dance in my living room when he threw a touchdown. And now I just laugh because he did ayahuasca and he got married, and I don't think he has a wife anymore. But
I
yeah.
mean, the marriage part of it was what shocked everybody.
Dude.
Apparently, he showed up with a ring on his
Yeah.
finger, and the world flipped.
yeah.
It's like, oh, I guess we figured out what that personal reason was. He couldn't sign his contract the last couple
I
months.
thought it was lame too. The old left tackle, David Bakhtiari for the
Mm-hmm.
Packers, was like, he went to Jordan Love's wedding. He just had a wedding, right? And he posted on Twitter, he's just like, at least one of my quarterbacks invited me to the wedding.
I
Oh,
didn't
God.
realize that Bakhtiari didn't get that.
Wow.
invite,
Yeah,
dog. Like,
yeah.
no, that's crazy because they used to be like bros.
Dude, yeah.
Like, they used to be buddy.
That gives you some perspective, dude. Like, you used to be homies with someone, and now you don't even talk to them no more, dude. And
Well,
it's
that's
just
what
like,
it makes me feel like. It was a coworker relationship. Or with
Yes,
an
yeah.
actual
Like with your
friendship, you know
coworker,
what I
you
mean?
feel like when you're with the coworker, that's the best. You guys are like this.
Best
and then
bros.
you-
But the
then you-
minute that one of you leave the job, you never talk.
like,
to
hey,
each
yo,
other
what's your
again.
name again?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Who's texting me? What?
I like
I
you
don't know
because you
you
can
fool.
stop pallets fast, bro.
It's like, yeah, I'm still at the job. I don't need to talk to you no more. That's wild. All right. Well, how do you feel you're going to stack up against the NFC North before we let you go?
I feel like they'll probably do mid again.
Really?
Nothing crazy. I think definitely third or second place. Maybe honestly, maybe fourth. We could have like we were.
Do you think the Bears are even going to be better? than you?
Dude, they have Ben Johnson out, and we had we were already third, and we were 1 and 5 in the division.
I agree with you. I'm just
Oh, you
shocked
agree
that
with
a
me? Wait,
Packer
wait,
fan
wait.
is actually saying it. A Packer fan admitting at all that a Viking and a Bears team is going to be better than them this year is
I hate
wild.
to sound realistic and not optimistic, but I'm
Like the Lions, I'll give you. I mean, obviously they've had the success, and there's no reason to believe they're not going to come down. But to say the
I think they
Bears
could
and
have
the
a look. You know how
Vikings
the
too?
Eagles went to the Super Bowl? They got rid of Steichen and the other guy.
Peterson,
And then
all
they
that,
were
yeah.
they were like kind of down for a year, and then the Eagles came back. I totally see the Lions doing that. They lost both their coordinators. I could see them having like kind of like a downish, not where they're tearing it up,
Yeah.
but they're maybe like 10-6 or like 12 and
competing
Wild
for a
card.
wild card.
Exactly.
Spot, yeah.
But the 2 coordinators thing, I don't know. I feel like that's a big thing.
No, I agree with you.
Right?
I think that's going to be a little bit of a step back, but I still think they take your division.
Yeah.
Especially with JJ McCarthy being a big question mark. We don't know what he's going to be yet.
Mhm.
And
Oh
honestly,
yeah, I forgot.
See, that's
yeah.
the question mark for me is Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's the only question mark because Chicago, I think, has made great strides, but I still don't see them being better than a 10-win team this year. Just
Mhm.
until we could see Caleb Williams actually beat Caleb Williams for the first time for Chicago. But I'm still shook that a Packers fan just looked at me dead in the face and said the Bears are going to be better than
I'm
them.
not delusional, bro.
No,
I'm,
I
you know,
respect
and
you
I
for
feel
that.
like a lot of Packers fans are like, "Yo, we have the history." I'm like, history don't mean crap, dude.
I mean, look, brother, I say this on the show all the time. Delulu is not the Salulu, and I am happy to see that there's somebody else on this world that actually thinks the same thing.
Well, I am delusional. So when they ask me how my Dolphins going to be, I said undefeated till they lose.
This is
crazy. That is crazy, Sparky.
I'm not going to go down a schedule and say, hey, they're going to lose that one. They're going to lose that one. They're going to win until they don't.
We will do weekly picks of games, and I promise you right now, anybody listening to my voice, he will not
what kind of
pick
fan
against
picks
the Miami
against their
Dolphins.
team?
Does not matter who they're playing.
I'll take a
he
loss.
He could be playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't
he
care.
could be playing the
care about your damn football
1960s
picks.
49ers. He could be playing anybody. He could be playing the Bears from back in the Singletary days, and he's taking Miami.
And this is after they're probably like 4-11. He's like, no, this will be it. They'll win this.
I did it the 1-15 season.
Yes,
we're going to win this week. It's going to be this week.
Did. It is.
So you went 1-15 too, probably that year too.
Like you'll see me like the Atlanta's going against Tampa Bay. I'll take Tampa, especially if we're playing in Tampa. I'll take Tampa all day. Him? Oh hell no. Anytime they're playing Buffalo, or I even mention Buffalo.
Picks against their team.
Oh my God.
My brother's a Niners fan. He's the same way. We do pick'ems. He's just like, no, why would I pick against the 49ers?
Right?
I'm like,
I just saw a Raider fan.
No, not right, Sparky. I don't agree with
You know what's funny? I just saw a Raider fan go on.
You think I just wear this tail hat for nothing?
No, this is honestly true. I just saw a Raider fan go on Rich Eisen's show or call into Rich Eisen's show and do the pick'ems for the Raiders too, and he had them going 14-3. And I sat there and said, wow. Gino's a hell of a quarterback to take 14-3 and beat the Chiefs twice. Like that's wild.
We'll
to
go
me.
out
So
to open mic tonight down at Ava's.
Yes,
6 o'clock doors.
6 o'clock doors. Show starts at 7. Come check it out. It'll be great comedy. I personally won't be there just because I'm hosting up north in Exeter at a show, but still great comedy. Go check it out, and I'll be there next Thursday, and we're there every Thursday after that. So
well, we'll talk to you very soon. Always great to see you.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate your time, and we'll get into more sports right after this break.
Welcome back. Early bird special.
I love Anthony. He's a
That was
funny,
good.
funny dude.
I needed that talk. I haven't had a good comedy style talk in a while. And you know what? Since we already brought it up, I know we were going to go into the Randy Couture thing and all that, which we will get to. Prayers up to Randy Couture, and God hope he gets filled up quickly. But we already brought this up with Anthony. I kind of wanted to talk about this story, especially since both of us are kind of keen in avoiding these kind of situations. We talked about how the Vikings defensive end Dallas Turner was scammed out of $240,000 in a bank fraud case. This is a massive, massive warning for anybody who, you know, is curious how these things could potentially happen. They've gotten really good. They've gotten really, really, really good at scamming people. There are people that literally do this for a living and they will cheer when they get money from you. And in this situation, Dallas Turner was apparently contacted by someone claiming to be a representative from a Chase bank that was calling to report some suspicious activity in his account. But the suspicious thing, that this is where it kind of gets to me why he believed this was a thing. That person then told him to go make 2 withdrawals and deposits to 2 separate businesses of $120,000 to stop that from happening. Neither of which of those businesses had anything to do with JP Morgan Chase.
Nope. And like MoneyWise has always taught me, first of all, your bank will not call you and ask for money.
No, never once. Why would they ask you for money? They're the ones that literally are holding your money. That's why I'm also just like the 2 companies in question that he was asked to donate or to put and transfer this money to were Food Island Truck LLC and CNLFL and LLC.
There's always the CNFL.
So you can clearly see here that Dallas made a mistake, and after talking to his family members, they kind of advised him, yeah, big dummy, that's not a thing.
Yeah, you stupid.
Like, luckily, Dallas is going to be getting a lot of money over his football career and will be able to make up for this, including most likely get all of this back at some point from the scammers if they could figure out who it is.
Well, they've been fighting it. They've been fighting it for a couple months, and supposedly they've only got 2,500 back.
Yes.
So it'll be a long battle. But just if you have, whether you have $50 or 250 grand,
never, ever, 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 ever send anybody money unless you know who they are. 1 or 2, they've walked up with some sort of bill and put it in front of your face.
And personally, I don't even answer the phone call. Almost 99.9%. I don't even answer the phone.
Well, you know what's crazy is they've gotten so good that they'll take your voice. Like, honestly, any scammer could take mine or your voice at any point in time, use it to call our family members and say, we've been in an accident or we've been kidnapped or something, and there's a ransom of this much money, and people have done it.
Well, I've gotten texts,
yeah,
you know, that say that they were my boss at work, you know, and I'm like, first of all, my boss wouldn't text me that, and he wouldn't text me his full name.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's what made me laugh was I had this happen when I first started working here, actually as a producer. I had somebody reach out to me saying, "Oh, I'm Rogers Brandon, and you have to go take this and do this and blah blah blah." And at first,
this link.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even a link thing. It was they were claiming that they were like a drug test thing. Like, it was a weird scam. And that's why I was like, this is odd. Okay. So I had obviously walked up to my bosses here and said, hey, is this
Check
a
this
thing?
out.
And they said, yeah, no, that's not a thing. So like they will go about
and they're only going to get better.
Yes. And they will do weird things to get you to believe that you are in trouble and you have to do this.
There's a fishy one going on right now that's coming from the DMV.
Yes, they're claiming to be the DMV and that you have unpaid charges that you have to pay them right now, or the cops are on their way. That's the other thing too. If anybody ever calls you and says the cops are on their way unless you pay me right now, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
First off, they wouldn't have called the cops first. If they're already called the cops, they're not calling you. The cops will come find you. And honestly, that's what I usually tell them is that, the cops are on the way. Okay, cool. I'll talk to the officer when he gets here then. Click.
Well, that's another thing that they're trying to, a lot of scams are going on social media.
Yeah.
With the young kids and I saw
AI video now.
Some states are actually trying to pass where they're only doing face IDs now to get into social media or dating sites.
See, this is where I draw the line though, is I won't give my face ID. Like, I'll verify my account or whatever you want me to do. That's fine. but I will not put in.
I stopped
know
posting
that's
photos of myself in social media unless it's a story and I know it's going to expire in
in a
12
day.
hours or
Yeah,
whatever.
I usually don't feel comfortable posting pictures of myself either, unless it's a special occasion or something like that, because I don't know.
I just stick to my
maybe,
feet pictures that I send to Anthony. So
You must make a lot of money
try
off
to
Anthony.
try to do a face ID with that.
It's so dumb. I get that we have to make these moves to actually protect ourselves, but at the same time, you're also giving up even more information to areas that you, at least personally, I don't want to give up information to. But this is, again, a good warning story to anybody out there. Protect yourself, protect your money, and even younger people. It's not just older people that get scammed over the phone, dude. These guys are getting very, very good, and they're going to continue to get better, just like Sparky said. And they don't care. They will sap you for everything you're worth and laugh on the way out. They really do not care. So, hopefully Dallas gets all of his money back and they figure this out. But it is just a good story to share. So everybody out there, if you're not alone if you have been scammed, and honestly, it can be fixed. So hopefully he gets that done. Real quick before we go to break, shout this one out. MMA star Randy Couture was airlifted to a hospital yesterday after a racing incident. He is actually training in hot rod racing, I guess. So the 62-year-old was attempting to practice and get good at that, and a crash happened. He has sustained a couple first and second degree burns that they are working on right now. It is expected that he makes a full recovery, but situations like this can be very scary. So hopefully this doesn't deter what could be a nice secondary career for Couture in the hot rod area, but I feel bad for him, and hopefully things are good. What happened?
Oh no, we'll take our break. We'll wrap up the show because we've got some text messages.
Oh, Lord.
And they're taking shots at me
At
this early
you?
in the morning. But we'll get into those and much more
Why
right
is
here.
everybody taking shots at you lately?
On the-
Usually it's me.
It's all right. Bring them on.
I mean, I know. Let's take a break, though. You're right. Let's pay some bills for the final time today. This is the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. And don't forget, go follow us on social media as well. We're all over the place. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even on Twitch. You can find us all over the place at the Early Bird Special.
good version of the song too. Anything from the Reanimation CD is fantastic. Grew up loving that CD. This is the Early Bird Special, final segment of the day. A handful of baseball stories to get to before we get out of here as well, but I hear we got some text messages that are attacking right now. What's going on?
Oh, we got several. First one says, "Dude should get life. I'm a father of 3 daughters, and if the prison yard doesn't get him, someone will get him in 8 years."
Brother, I could not agree with you more. And honestly, this is coming from somebody who actually was a fan of Ben McLemore during his playing career, and the 100 months is not enough. I will stand on that hill until the day I die. What else we got?
What's up with the Doyers? And a nice win for the Phillies. I hate the Giants.
Here's the thing. I wasn't going to beat up on y'all. I was going to let this go. I've heard nothing but hate right now from Dodger fans. Not that we hate on the Dodgers, but more of just the fact that you guys are not playing good baseball right now.
It's just easy.
6-7 game slide. I mean, yeah, it's an easy target, and it's unfortunate. But again, it's baseball. You go on these skids sometimes, and you turn it around. Honestly, I think it's the perfect time for you guys to go on the skid with the All-Star break right around the corner. Get yourself a break, especially since half your team was a part of the snub group. And
the other half was on the team.
Yeah, the other half is on the team. Exactly. But honestly, for Dodger fans, don't freak out. They'll turn it around eventually, probably after the All-Star game. But at least you'll have something to look forward to for the second half of the season.
The first one, season is not too long, Sparky. He is wrong and a hater.
Look, baseball fans, I am with you. I am 100% on board with 162 games. I play MLB The Show, and I will play 162 games, baby. I will do it. I don't care. But there are some people that just can't handle that. They can't handle a long season like that. I get it. Long-term attention spans aren't exactly in America's forte.
My season is starting next weekend.
Exactly.
I've cut it down to 2 now. I cut out KC.
No,
it's either gonna be the Mariners or the Giants.
I was really hoping you were gonna pick the Royals. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, oh, you know what? Sparky as a Royals fan would be great. I would love to have a Royals fan on the show.
My buddy Jeremy just ripped me apart, saying,
Really?
"Dude, you're a Giants fan in the first place. Go back to the Giants." I said, "Well, I was also a Indians fan when Kenny Lofton was there. I liked Frank Thomas with the White Sox."
Here's the thing, though. They lost you because of the Barry Bonds situation, right? So it really depends on who you want to blame for that.
Exactly.
If you want to blame Barry for that, then I say go back to the Giants. But if you blame the Giants organization for not stopping Barry from taking these things.
But I liked Barry when he was in Pittsburgh. So it wasn't that I was a diehard Giants fan.
Yeah, you were just a baseball fan that just happened to like the Giants. I get that. I don't know. I was just I was actually thinking of you last night too, because in the back of my head, I was like, I saw Jack Caglione's 466-foot home run to dead center yesterday, and I was like, Sparky behind this team would actually be kind of cool.
But if I wear a KC hat, people are going to think I have gang ties or something. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to wear KC hats.
Leave the Royals alone. They're not that deep.
The other text says, no salary cap in baseball. They are all billionaires, Sparky. Those cheap ASS to open their wallets. Every sports owner is super rich.
It's true. That's kind of the prerequisite. That's why guys like Eli Manning said, that's too steep for me. I can't get into that game.
And he was only 1%.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like that was shocking to me too. I thought for sure it was like the Manning family said no. Like out of every football family to say no, these guys print money. And even Eli said that's too steep for me.
He said the selling point was that he wouldn't be able to do his show.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to do interviews.
They would take him away from all that. It's just like the Tom Brady thing because you're connected to it.
Grips of money right now.
Yeah.
So why would you step away from that?
Exactly. But even then, I still feel like he'd be printing money from all of the endorsements and stuff like that he would get on the side. So it
just brings up how's Brady doing it?
Well, Brady again, yeah, they've had to figure out like a little weird thing for him because I don't think he's going to be doing the broadcasting thing. I don't. Again, he just can't do the production meetings, anything like that. He can't look at any statistics. He can't talk to any of the players. He essentially just walks in and flies blind. That's why, honestly, I think that it kind of comes up flat a lot of the time because unlike everybody else, he doesn't get the prep time. He just kind of walks in. He's Tom Brady. This is what Tom Brady genuinely feels about the situation. because he doesn't get the genuine, he doesn't get the opportunity to see what all the rest of these guys get to see. So that's kind of the handicap that he gets, but that's also why I don't think he's going to be doing it for very long unless he actually likes it. If he enjoys doing that, then I guess do whatever you want to do. But I think
I
that
saw he's dating the hot mom from Modern Family.
is he really?
Yes.
Wait. Sophia Vergara?
Uh-huh.
Shut your mouth.
They were
Tom
talking about
Brady
that on
and
ESPN
Sofia
this morning.
Vergara.
Yep.
As if there's any reason for me to hate this man
Right.
more. Like, really?
Yep.
You still Sophia away? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Good for you.
That's what they were talking about this morning on
Good for you.
Unsportsmanlike.
I will concede, Mr. Brady. You are
You
honest.
win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. If there's any man on the planet right now that wins at life, it's Tom freaking Brady.
The other text says, leave baseball alone.
Leave baseball.
Period, it says.
Oh, look. And so baseball, I think this is coming from a lot of Dodger fans, which I understand, but baseball genuinely should consider a salary cap. Again, it's not going to come anytime soon. Baseball is not going to change overnight. Look, it's the biggest traditional sport on the planet, and you have to fight itself in order to make things change. One of the stories that we still haven't gotten to is the fact they're putting automatic balls and strikes in the All-Star game. How do you guys feel about that?
Love it.
I love it. I think this is a step that we need. And honestly, it's going to further show the world it's going to benefit baseball in the long run. It genuinely is. I wish they could throw Aaron Hernandez back there now, though, just so Aaron could do his normal thing and everybody can go, nope, not a thing. Like, just tap the top of your hat and we're going to challenge that, baby, because clearly you need a pair of glasses.
Our boy Dan said, you guys need a 6'7", 300-pound tight end?
Yes.
Who doesn't?
300-pound tight end? Absolutely. Now, how fast are you, though? What's that
matter.
40 time? What's that 40 time, Dan? And honestly, do we get free barbecue every Sunday, too? I'm going to print that out there. Maybe not free barbecue. But
that barbecue killed at the 4th of July party. I'll just say saying. Harris Barbecue is the real deal.
A 6'7" tight end. I'll throw it up to you every day of the week, sir.
I've been telling everyone he was 7'2", so I guess it's like my it's like my license says I'm 5'13".
That's 5'13",
which I'm like 6 inches shorter than that. But
oh my lord,
the last text says they do offer courses in college for money. Washington University makes the football team take the course, which is awesome.
Okay.
I didn't know that
I didn't know. I was like, no, I know they have the courses. That's not what I'm saying. But if Washington requires it, I like that. That's my point. I think that every sports team that if you play sports in college, whether you get NIL money or not, you should have to take some sort of finance class.
Be smart, be safe, be money-wise.
Exactly. To know what you're doing with your money. And honestly, if the opportunity does come for you down the line to make money playing sports, you'll be ready for it. And you'll know exactly what's to come. And these people or these players that have to deal with it right now, making millions upon millions of dollars from NIL, they get the firsthand experience of, okay, maybe this is what I should do with my money. I think it's a benefit across the board, but that's just me. Thank you guys for joining us. Join us back here tomorrow, as always, 7 to 9 a.m. I believe Chris Flail will be joining us, and we're efforting an interview with a professional boxer as well. Hopefully, he'll be with us as well. Until then, we got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.